Mulligan. Welcome back to your Slightly Average Guys podcast this week. We literally just launched our last episode probably about an hour ago. Please go back, watch that. Hit us up on Instagram. It was the best.
Best one, totally hands down.
Hit us up on Instagram, Slightly Average Guys, YouTube. You can find our podcast all over in any area that you prefer. Google, Apple, YouTube, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff.
Yep, it was released on iHeartRadio last week, so we are in all of the places, as they say.
So hit us up. We got a good episode coming in for you. Tune in. What do we got on the list, Ryan?
All right, so, we've all been working from home. We've talked about that over a couple episodes. Go back, listen to those ones, our struggles and things are going rather well for me. But kind of wanted to talk about, I'm not a coffee drinker. I'll drink coffee when I go on vacation, which sounds weird because, usually sleep in, but I need it to wake me up so I could be on the beach early because I love the beach. So where are you guys on coffee? Like, first off, like, hands down, not a sponsor, probably will never be a sponsor. I can't stand Starbucks. I think if I'm going to go get a coffee, it's probably the most disgusting coffee I can possibly get. Hands down. Sorry, full stop.
Go ahead, Andy. I know you got this.
Mr. Bowtie.
Well, yeah. Well,
I like your bow tie, by the way.
Listen, I want to be classy but respectful at the same time, and it allows me to do that because it's removable. So, when the situation calls for it, I can transform. It's like just going with the wind. So, as far as coffee goes, I have this love-hate with it. So I'll either go all in on something or I'll just not do it. So if I'm all in, I'm like all in. So there was a point here recently when I had coffee grounds and I had the little device for the Keurig where you could scoop them in there and it would do it.
Oh yeah.
And I would try all these different ones, all these different blends and flavors. And then I would incorporate that with like different creamers. And then, I got to the point where I just was like, I'm spending so much money on this, and I don't really feel like there's that big of a varying difference in taste or maybe even experience. So,
well, let me ask you this just real quick. What kind of creamers? What kind of stuff are you putting in your coffee?
Everything from like almond milk that's unflavored to sweet, like flavored almond milk to flavored coffee creamers. Like there's French vanilla. There's, during the holidays, there'll be some like peppermint or eggnog flavor or just whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we're in October, right? So there's a bunch of pumpkin spice going on right now. There's tons of flavors, unimaginable. Chocolate, you can even put chocolate in your coffee. Like, there's so many things. I was just curious on where you stood on creamers.
So before we move on for a second, how much coffee creamer are we talking about? Are we saying that you're going to tell me that it's only an ounce, but really we know that you're buying coffee creamer, coffee mate creamer by the gallon, and it lasts a week, but you only use an ounce every day somehow?
Gosh, I don't know. I feel like I know somebody that did that. I think I probably use so as far as reference goes, when you go to like Village Inn or you go somewhere for breakfast and they give you those little single shots, I'll probably do 2 of those in my coffee. 3.
I don't think that's bad. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
So that's probably the amount that I'll put in there.
Yeah, and it really just depends with me because some people are just sticklers, right?
Yeah.
I cannot drink my coffee black. Are you kidding me? Like, it just depends on what's available. If there's milk available, I'll use it. If there's almond milk available, I'll use it. If there's actual creamer, I'll use it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not picky. I use coffee and I drink coffee for a specific reason, right?
Yeah.
It's to get me going.
Yeah.
It's to wake me up. It's to keep me going throughout my workday.
Yep.
And so then I guess that's where I'll start with mine, right? When I drink coffee, I used to drink coffee every single day. Every morning, get in the office. That's the first thing that I do is grab a cup of coffee. Are we going to be those guys that call it a cup of Joe?
No, I'm gonna more like say it's gonna make you take a Joe, but that's the next topic. So hang on.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd bring that up because that's pretty funny. So, anyways, and I'd eat lunch too. I'd have a little cup of coffee after that just to keep me going throughout my day. So like it was a daily thing. We're all working from home now, right? We pretty consistently. Lots of people are. And so when I'm working from home, I started drinking coffee and I'm like, man, this is not hitting me well. And so I stopped. And actually, I do not drink coffee at all during my workday anymore, which is kind of insane. I mean, Andy, we play video games hit us up. Teeter Time, Slightly Average Andy on Twitch, hit us up. We game all the time. We go to bed 11:30, midnight, 1.
Yeah.
Like we're staying up crazy amounts of the hour, and I wake up like my normal time, like 8:30, which is pretty crazy. And I don't drink any coffee anymore, and I think there's something to say about that. That's pretty good. But man, this next topic comes up. This shit really hits me. No joke, since I don't eat coffee anymore. Ryan, do you drink coffee?
So, right as COVID, first started, I had a really young child at that moment, so I was ended up dabbling in the coffee a bunch,
Oh, really? Okay.
But here's the thing. Like, the reason why I hesitate and I look off into the distance and have to contemplate what I'm about to say is because I don't know if what I drink is actually technically coffee. It's like, hey, it's got the essence of coffee, but it's more like creamer with a sprinkling of coffee just to have a side taste of the coffee. It tastes more like French vanilla because I would rather have pretty much what I'm trying to get to is I want hot chocolate with caffeine.
So basically what you're telling me,
why is that not a thing? Why can I not go buy hot chocolate that has caffeine mixed in it?
That's fair.
So what you're telling me is, though, when you asked about the creamers, you load that shit up.
Yes. Yeah, they say, here's the thing, I make my wife her coffee every single morning, with it, and she does a certain number of spoonfuls. Okay, I'm the guy that okay, it's a spoon, and I'm pouring into it, and I'm all right, 1, and I dump the spoon out, but I don't stop pouring the creamer, then I'm 2, okay, 3, 4, essentially I got 8 huge spoonfuls of creamer in this coffee, which is essentially quarter of the cup. At that point, I know I have a problem, okay? But this is also why I know I don't drink it every single day now. I'm drinking it probably 2 to 3 times a week, I think, if that, probably 2. Two's a realistic scenario for it.
Yeah, but, and I had coffee this morning, and I also had coffee probably Monday because I just really needed it. And Corey's actually really dropped down on her coffee drinking as well, which is, because again, it's that money factor, Andy, that you were talking about. Holy shit. We used to go to Starbucks all the time. She'd pull up her app, and just be like, oh, I just need to drop money into the app, and then I pay for it with the app. So it's I'm not even paying for it. Well, you just drop money in there to pay for it. There's so much money in coffee. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But little side note here, just because I think it's funny. Today is my dog's birthday. Today is Camo's birthday.
Did you get a puppuccino?
He loves those puppuccinos, dude.
I knew it. I knew there was going to be a Starbucks reference in here on a positive side.
Has been getting up, 5 o'clock in the morning, working out, really doing her best self, And today she actually wakes up, takes Camo along to Starbucks solely to get the puppuccino because it's his birthday. Awesome. And then she got me something as well, which was super adorable, but it was just hilarious.
Yeah, my dog loves the puppuccino too, and if he's been good, we'll give him that. But there's times where I'm I'll get it for him, and then I sit there and I watch him. I'm I want a whole cup of whipped cream. Why can't I get one of those too?
I mean, what dog isn't gonna like it? My dogs love it too, so much so that they almost eat the cup. They go so crazy on it, type of thing. So
yeah, so I got a Snapchat from Corey, and Camo was eating the cappuccino outside when he normally eats it inside because it's just a massive mess. And then again, that's big dog versus small dog, right? Small dog's gonna be, oh, super cute. I'm just gonna lick this out, and it's gonna be super nice. And then big dog is just
So when you go to Starbucks, do you guys just get drinks, or do you get any other food or anything?
It really depends for me. I'm a huge breakfast guy. I love breakfast. Yeah. I know McDonald's is bad for you, and I really never, ever get it. But when I do, oh my gosh, their sausage egg McMuffins are phenomenal. And same with Starbucks, right? I just love those things. But I don't really get that stuff a whole lot.
Yeah,
it's mostly just iced coffee and basically just iced coffee, caramel, basic stuff.
All right. If anybody has, because you're getting into the realm of what are you getting at Starbucks, and I'm having a nervous tick over here. If you've never had the coffee bean and tea leaf, go try the coffee bean and tea leaf, or Dutch Bros, or pretty much any other coffee shop that you haven't had in at least a year, after you've drinking your Starbucks, like the next day, go get one, and then you will realize how fake and artificial everything from Starbucks tastes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
I'll
is
have
a-
to try that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And to the viewers out there too, I mean, feel free to comment on that because I've never done that before, and that'll be interesting to hear from everybody.
yeah, and you went down the rabbit hole. You started talking about going to McDonald's and getting. Now I really want like what's the one with the syrup inside of the pancake? Like
Oh
Griddle?
my god,
Griddle,
the
yes.
McGriddle.
Yeah.
Damn.
I just recently discovered those. And so at our last job, we would have this thing every Friday. We would do pretty much every Friday. We would do breakfast burritos and we'd watch The Price is Right for about 30 to 45 minutes. Like that was our morning ritual. And then sometimes breakfast burritos became, like Ryan and I would go grab McDonald's for each other for a couple other guys. And everybody's like, oh, these McGriddles are the best. I'm like, what are you talking about? Right? Sausage, egg, McMuffin's like, that's OG. You don't change that. And they're like, no, you got to try it. So I tried it and I was like, what is this amazing shit that I've never had before? And fuck you guys for not showing me this earlier. That I'm so far behind on this. And it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and then you just started thinking like, how in the hell do they actually get this damn thing into here? Like what did they inject?
Do they
it?
marinate it?
Yeah, like what's going on? Are there little like crystal balls that they drop in the pancake mix before they they put it in the little fryer thing, or like what is going
It's
on?
stupid.
The guy
But
that
one
does
thing
this-
about these is, and whenever, so with coffee, and I'll kind of lead into this next one, I guess, is because when you eat anything from, you name it, you name that type of food. We all know what type of food we're talking about. When you eat that food, wow, your body is not happy afterwards.
Right
Oh
through.
no, there's
It
a
is
30-minute clock. You within 30 minutes of eating McDonald's breakfast, for me, like some people it's any McDonald's. Me, it's McDonald's breakfast. 30 minutes. I need to be somewhere where I can, or else there's some stuff that's about to go down. Yeah.
That is the first live use
That's right.
of that beep noise that Ryan just pulled out, and I'm gonna give that a slow clap as well. Ryan, nice job, good implementation on that. Congratulations, that was the first ever bleep in our Slightly Average Guys
Thanks.
podcast.
I'm trying to class it up. Andy's bringing the tie. I'm trying to just make sure I'm not dropping the S bombs or anything.
And I'll just be me, I guess. but leads me down that.
It's true.
Go ahead.
It's true. Like 30 minutes. You're gonna go. So if you got problems where you haven't been able to go, I suggest going and getting McDonald's breakfast, getting a McGriddle. It's going to happen. It'll clean you out. It'll make things start moving. Some people have it for coffee. Me, for coffee, it takes a little longer, but it still happens. Like Ryan, where are you at with this?
And exactly my point, and kind of where I was leading this to, is back to my coffee, right? Like, used to drink coffee all the time, and I don't think it hit me as much. But now that I'm not drinking coffee, and I probably drank 2 cups of coffee in the past 3 weeks, maybe even a month, that shit, I don't have that bleeping thing. That stuff destroys me. I drink literally 1 cup, maybe 12 ounces, right? Like that's a normal cup, I would assume. I go to the bathroom later 3 times, 2 to 3 times. It's not just like one cleanse. It's like a day's event. And it sucks. I'm just like, if this is what it's like drinking coffee now, I'm done. Sign me off. Get me out of that. Unsubscribe.
That's funny. That's what happens when you get old. Your body's like, well, I guess it's time to just purge everything and let's go.
That's a good word. Purge.
So everybody knows this is their first time actually doing a live stream. We got Heather Grinda 22. She's laughing. She's like, of course the topic of poop's gonna come up. It's pretty funny. She is also loving your tie, Andy. So big shout out. That's technically Heather. So it's
She appreciates it.
Yep.
Yes.
So for those of us, anybody that's watching us live, make sure to give us a follow down there in the lower right-hand corner. I don't know which angle it is from my camera because everything's backwards. The lower right-hand
This
corner.
way.
Click follow, so that way you make sure that you get notified when we go live.
I feel like we just point to the bottom. That should be good.
The problem is that the screen's cut, so like I can't see your arms right now. I just see your shoulders. There you go.
Well, and you know how normal like podcasts and stuff like that, like they'll have people in the background viewing.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel right now because actually have a group of friends over. They're watching football right now, and I feel like they're just viewing this whole thing like as an audience member. You know, like paid members in an audience that go watch like Jimmy Fallon or something like that. They're not in it; they're just watching it, and I think it's kind of funny.
They're just good bystanders.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on from the poop topic. We said drinking with coffee and everything else. Let me bring up a different drink. That's I'm have very opinionated towards. Let's call beer. And as we were talking in the pre-show a little bit, I'm not a big beer guy. I'm tendency to that's going to say beer. If we're talking the general beer that's out there, not a fan. Just don't like it. It doesn't matter if it's something crazy, like Keystone or Natty Light or Budweiser or Coors. Like it's just not my thing. I just doesn't appeal to me. But when we start to get into craft beers, starts to intrigue me and stuff like that. I like ciders and things. People know that, but I also like other just craft beers and things that are like, Big Blue Van, different stuff that's out there. Where do you guys stand on it? I think Andy just recently, fell into, meeting up with Big Blue Van.
Yeah, so we got into
No
Big Blue
way.
Van probably like a year ago through soccer and kids sports as you guys both grow or have your children if you have children. But like you will find that drinking at children's sporting events makes it so much better. But we discovered Big Blue Van not too long ago, and I love it. So I'm a huge fan of that type of thing. In fact, this is my favorite time of year for beer in general because I love pumpkin porter and Four Peaks pumpkin porter.
Four Peeps.
Four Peeps. That is my absolute favorite. However, I am all for just the random type, and I'll try everything. And I even like doing the sampler boxes from like Sam Adams or whatever. But I love that. In fact, we've had a chance to try beers in other states that are just the most random little brewery. And I've run into just some amazing beer that you just can't get here. So I love doing that. And I'm always up for some different type of craft thing, from IPAs to just the whole gambit. In fact, one day I was looking online for something and I found, I think it was Four Peaks in Sierra Nevada, actually have a calendar where they show you the different types of beer that come out throughout the year.
That's
you have
awesome.
this seasonal beer. Yeah. And I was like, this is really great. And then here in Arizona, we have some really good breweries. Like we have College Station, we have Mother Road, we have Four Peaks. So they put out some really, really great stuff right now. But I'm always up for a good type of craft beer. Ryan?
Yeah. So that's actually interesting. So Four Peaks is obviously a brewery that everybody knows around here, right? If you live in Phoenix, you know about Four Peaks. But the interesting thing is, I didn't hear College Station. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
And the other one, never heard of it. Like, that's awesome. I'm taking note of that right now, saying, hey, I should check those things out. But for me personally, I love trying new beers, right? I'm not picky at all. I drink light beers. I drink IPAs. I will enjoy a stout every once in a while, even though, they're not my favorite. But I'm not a beer connoisseur. I don't know a lot about beers, and I like that flavor. I don't like this one because this one has this. I just don't get into that like that. But like you said, I love going to breweries, love trying new beers. Corey and I, for our birthday in June, we both went to Glacier National Park. And we made a road trip out of it. We didn't just go to Glacier National Park. We went from Phoenix, drove all the way through. We went and stopped at 5 different national parks throughout the entire road trip. That's all we were doing, was just stopping at breweries. So it's just very fun and exciting to try new beers, and I really do enjoy drinking them.
So I was wrong. The thing is called College Street, not College Station.
College Street. Okay.
Yeah, it's out of Lake Havasu.
All right. No, I'll definitely have to try that out. But Ryan, like what in particular, like what makes you not like beer? What makes you bring up the conversation of beer in general? Like, have you had a bad experience?
No, I just say, like, I've actually had way worse experience with alcohol, like hard alcohol, than anything else.
The beer hurt you, Ryan. Show me on the can.
Lower. Lower. Okay, there we go. Right
Are
there.
we playing the
That's where it
nervous
hurt me.
game?
No,
Lower.
Like I
Lower.
guess, you know, I didn't have the college experience like most people did, so like I didn't like that wasn't the thing, you know. For me, I've like jumped into like drinking, you know, vodka and something, you know, always mixed together, or Captain and Coke. Like that's where like, you know, like the things that I started drinking when I was, I'm gonna just say legal age, to drink. You know, those are things that, like just picked up. I anytime I ever picked up a beer, it's just like, this just doesn't taste good to me, you know. And I think everybody has told me, they're like, well, it's an acquired taste. You basically got to get through the shittiness of it in order to, you know, just keep drinking. It'll be fine. And like that's true. Once you're like a certain level of intoxicated, it don't matter what you know drink.
Right.
It's fine. Which I'll agree. But if I have a choice, I'm not gonna go pick up, you know, a certain type of beer just off the shelf and be like, that's the first thing that I'm gonna pick. I'll just do something else. And I used to drink a decent amount. I hardly drink anymore, but a whole different story.
That's a great point, though, Andy. Would you agree that beer is a acquired taste?
Yeah, I think when you get into the different, you know, levels of craft and alcohol content, I absolutely think that there's some sort of acquired taste. Like you don't like scotch, and I think that that's probably the same thing. That
Thanks for bringing it up.
yes, anytime. I do. I think that you have to like it. And one of the things that I did that I was going to mention too is, so we have an Old Chicago by us, and they've got like 100 or some. They've like all these different beers on tap, and so they have these little, they call them tours, and so they have all these different beers that you have to drink, and they put them on there, and they vary from alcohol content to IPA to pale or to a stout or to just a regular. And I think that that's kind of helped me, especially on like what do I really like, because before I was like Blue Moon and I was like Sam Adams, and so it really helps.
Typical stuff.
Yeah, because you don't typically get that much. And like when you go to the store, you just stand there, you go to Total Wine, and you're like, well, gosh, I don't even know what I'm going to go for. So that's helped me to really branch out and broaden my taste of what I like. So that way I know, like, okay, if I'm going to go to this place and they've got this type of beer, I'm okay having that. Like when we would go to lunch up in Scottsdale, there's a place called Skeptical Chemist. It's an Irish pub. So you have to get Guinness. I mean, you just, why else wouldn't you? And having Guinness enough times, I'm like, it's not bad, right? I'll drink it. But my favorite is Black and Tan. So having the ability to like, you know, mix and match and do this experimentation, I think is very helpful. So I do think it's an acquired taste when you get into some of the differences.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I think going with the Guinness route and everything, I still wouldn't consider that the standard beer. You know, I'm not trying to bash any of them, but you know, like Budweiser, Coors, like just the general ones. It's just like, to me, just that's not my acquired taste. You know.
Yeah, it is really. Oh, sorry, Ryan. It is really crazy because talk to anybody, ask anybody, any of your friends, any of your family members. I can even ask you guys, what light beer do you like? Don't answer this now. What light beer do you like now? And I guarantee you it's going to be one of them. The main ones, right? So we're talking Coors, we're talking Bud, we're talking Miller. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can get into their cheaper alternatives, Natty, you know, Hams, and the real crap Keystone.
Blue Ribbon.
But you know, Budweiser, Bud Light, Budweiser's their full one. But for me, and I guarantee it's the same thing for other people, you choose one. You don't drink Coors Light and Miller Light. You don't drink Coors Light and Bud Light. You don't drink Bud Light and Miller Light. You either drink one of them or you drink fucking none of them. Yeah. And that's what I think is absolutely crazy. Like, they're all light beers, but they have such dramatic and drastic differences between their drinkers. And that's crazy.
Yeah, you don't cross the streams.
You really don't. If I drink, I'll drink 3-4 Coors Lights. I'm a Coors Light guy.
Yeah.
I'll drink 3 or 4 of them. That's not even a head buzz, you know. I drink one Bud Light, headache, miserable, done for the night, done. Insane.
Well, and that's kind of the other thing is just the number of calories that you're going to drink, you know, in it. Like I see you right now drinking a Light Sky. Like I like those as well. Like, you know, which is a beer, you know, offshoot, but like to me, it's like not in the same category of what we're currently talking about.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, let's do a drink check then, since we're talking about alcohol. What's everybody got going on? I'll start. So I'm doing a Corona seltzer. This is blackberry lime. Not bad. It's refreshing.
Very crisp.
What's your alcohol content on there? Let's do that. Ryan, you might not know since you don't have it in front of you.
I know what it is because I just
4.5%. 4.5%.
All right, a good solid 4.5, 4.5.
Yeah.
Ryan.
We'll let you go because you're drinking something relative to what Andy's drinking.
Yeah, and that's another topic for another day. These seltzers and these citrus sweets, the lighter versions of everything that's coming out, right? So Coors Light and their light stuff, their seltzers. I'm blanking on the other one. So I'm drinking the Blue Moon Light Sky right now, which is their lighter version of the. And again, that's totally different topic. Lovely. It's like they just dropped the orange in the Blue Moon for you and just make it less calories. Check this out. I'm looking at 95 calories right now.
Oh,
which isn't bad. I'm looking at 3.6 grams of carbs. And overall, I am looking at 4% alcohol. So a pretty solid choice, pretty lovely. Go check them out.
So I got 90 calories and I got no carbs.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Now you're just an asshole.
Now, have you ever had the Light Sky, Andy?
No.
Now, here's the thing. Like, here's the weird piece. Is like this is kind of like Ryan's piece on the light beer. Like whichever one that you started with, that's just the one everybody stays. Yeah. I've tried several different ones. I like the Light Sky from Blue Moon the best. Which is funny because again, it's the same theory. You lock into one, and then that's where you're gonna stay. Like the one that you had, the Corona one, not as good. And then there's a Coors one. Like it is bad, in my opinion.
No
but again,
way.
I'm not a beer drinker, and I also don't like Coors. So like if that's the only thing at an event that I'm going to, and I want to have some libations, then I'll end up with a Miller Lite. Again, that's the avenue that I'm in. But
and I'm just going to drop this in here. We've dropped a lot of big brand names within this podcast. If you're watching live, we've dropped a lot of good names. Yeah. We are not paid by anybody. We have no paid advertisements in this thing. We are just shooting the shit. We're talking. We're your slightly average guys just here having fun. So we hope you enjoy it. There are no paid advertisements in here.
No paid advertisements, but we are open and willing in the event. Yeah, I'll talk about whatever you want.
There are branding opportunities on Andy's tie.
Hit us up. SlightlyAverageGuys.com.
All of this is for sale, by the way. This is all real estate that's available to purchase.
Okay, so what am I drinking? I'm drinking something a little bit harder, and it's on the rocks. Okay, hang on, I gotta actually. Whoops, let me not show that brand name on the cup.
There you go.
All right, so what I have is what Andy and Ryan know is amazing. Okay, it is called. It's from Screwball, the brand, and it is peanut butter whiskey, and it is straight amazing.
Like, it really is pretty good.
Oh, it's so smooth, and I'm not a huge whiskey person. Like I just don't drink that much. But like if I'm going to sip on something, the last couple of weeks, this is what I've been sipping on. I put a big ice ball in it, dump some on there, and it's like I think it's 70 proof, so it's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to like. It feels hot in this room right now.
That's because your fan's not on, Ryan.
Yeah, I actually had to turn it on, so if you hear it in the background, I apologize.
So what I heard is that Teeter and I are trying to, get our winter bodies ready, and Ryan's just getting straight hammered because we're going, very little calories and carbs, and Ryan's just going to go straight hammered.
Because I feel like, if I'm getting my winter body ready, what, it's fine. I'm warm. I just need to warm myself up a little more with something a little hard and get the blood flowing, gets the body going.
And let's let people know we're in Phoenix, right? So a winter body is actually like a summer body.
That's right.
And a summer body is a winter body because you don't go outside when it's 115 degrees outside. So it's ass backwards when we're talking states and temperatures.
Yes. So formerly, I will say my drink of choice and would still be to this day is Captain and Coke or Evan Williams and Coke. I love Evan Williams because they're always at Bear Jackson when I go. My father would say the same thing, which I think he's in the chat. But I gave up soda. Let's see. This coming month will be 4 years ago. Cold turkey. That was after Andy walking around and I was laying on the floor because I was drinking like 16 Mountain Dews a day, and I felt like I was having a heart attack. He's like, "I need to call somebody."
Yeah, that was weird. It was a weird. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
what are you doing
I'm
down
like,
there?
I'm good. I'm just having some chest pains. I'm good. And you know, after that, kind of cut it out. But anyway, so that's our topics for this week, guys. We actually ran a little bit longer on just those than I figured we would, but some good stuff. Appreciate everybody joining us live. Anybody that is listening to this after the fact on one of the podcast ones, we're going to now start streaming it live on Twitch. You can follow us at Slightly Average Guys. You can get any of the podcast stuff on any of your podcast streaming, or as well on just going directly to slightlyaverageguys.com. You will see the direct host feed directly there, so you can find us and listen to us, download it, listen to us when you're mowing the lawn, doing jumping jacks, Polar Express. I don't know what you're doing this time of year. Just saying, we do some weird stuff, but we'll end it with Andy talking about his tie early on. I had a comment on it. He said he wanted to really class it up, so I feel like it's the higher it is, the classier it is. But you seem to like to lowbrow it and lowball it if you shut off the stream. So appreciate it, everybody. See you next week.
See ya.
Oh, it's funny.